Have you been told your whole life that you're too sensitive or you just need to toughen up or develop a thicker skin? If this is you, first of all, I can relate, and many of my clients can too. You might be a highly sensitive person. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what that is and what to do if this is you. I'm Emma Coble. I am a therapist in Colorado who sees clients in Colorado and Florida. So, feeling, being told your whole life that you are too sensitive, too emotional, too affected by things. You might feel like you walk into a room and it's loud and you're instantly overstimulated. Maybe you cry easily at things, whether that is beautiful art or poetry or music. But then you also feel things deeply when there's a loss or a grief in your life. It may feel like it takes you a long time to move on or to feel better. It feels so big inside of you. And maybe you've been sent the message that you were too much because of these things. So I want to tell you that, first of all, you're not too much, and that being a highly sensitive person is not a disorder, and in fact can be a major superpower. Um, it is something that apparently around 15 to 20% of the population experience. And we can work with it in therapy, not to like get rid of it or make it go away, but to help release burdens of shame or guilt and to help you work with it, and so to keep your nervous system feeling good. Um, so Yes. So this is something that, by the way, I would imagine probably more than 15 to 20% of the population experience if they were really honest about it. In fact, I think that for many of us, high sensitivity is something that our culture like kind of breeds out of us or tries to get rid of. And so many people kind of deny their own sensitivity and ability to be affected by things. Um, so Dr. Elaine Aron wrote a book called The Highly Sensitive Person in the 90s. And she claims and talks about how HSPs have finely tuned nervous systems, and we process stimuli, emotional, sensory, and social more deeply than an average person. So people who are HSPs are more perceptive, highly empathic, more attuned to subtlety often. They notice things that other people might miss, and they're moved by things more easily, that like we talked about before. Um, they are often the person in the room who makes everyone else feel really seen and understood. However, this can also lead to easier burnout, needing more recovery time, needing more alone time. And our world is really not designed for sensitive nervous systems like this. So here are some signs that you might be an HSP. So like I said before, like really stimulating environments and loud environments and crowded places, busy social days really leave you feeling drained or depleted and needing to recharge. You're deeply affected maybe by other people's moods. Even when they haven't even talked about how they're feeling, you just absorb it and feel it. You feel your emotions more intensely and for longer periods than it seems like other people do. You need quiet and alone time in order to recharge and gather your resources. You're easily moved by things like poetry, books, movies, um, and it really affects you deeply. Criticism might hit you harder, and it feels like it stays longer. You pick up on subtle cues in conversations that other people might not notice. You've been told you're too sensitive or too emotional a lot. You have a rich, complex inner life, and you tend to think and feel things in layers. And if any of this resonates, I want to say that growing up as an HSP can be really intense, even if nothing really huge or traumatic seemed to happen. But really, because your nervous system was picking up on a lot and it was highly attuned, and because it often might have seemed like others were disappointed in you for being highly sensitive, for not being tough enough, that you were overreacting. And when you absorb that feedback for a long time, you start to believe that about yourself. You start to suppress these tendencies to be deeply affected. and develop shame around your responses. So, oftentimes this can also lead to anxiety, like if you are repressing a part of yourself, um, and when you're also like feeling overstimulated and processing all of these things, um, it can feel very chaotic. The world can feel like a chaotic place. First of all, that you don't fit in, you're not good enough, but also everything around you feels incredibly overstimulating and you're just expected to kind of fit in and deal with it. So this can lead to really unprocessed trauma, because trauma is anything that happens that sort of stays stuck in our nervous system, and our nervous system has a response of staying in a stress state when it occurs. So it doesn't have to be like you watched your best friend die. Trauma can be living in this state, and is living in this state of fight or flight and not feeling good enough and feeling like there's something wrong with me for an extended period of time. That is absolutely trauma. HSPs tend to do really well in therapy. Oftentimes we're very self-reflective, emotionally literate, are in touch with ourselves. In fact, if you are an HSP, I bet you maybe already know that or have done therapy around this or around yourself before. And I want to say that things like EMDR and IFS are also great modalities for HSPs, because it really helps you move deeper into yourself and beyond sort of a cognitive surface level understanding, and really get into your body, and heal your nervous system. A lot of times your nervous system might have felt hijacked and in a state of fight or flight. EMDR really helps us to be able to calm your nervous system and heal that trauma that might have been stuck in the body for a really long time. IFS is also really great because it's all about helping you develop compassion for the parts of yourselves that may have felt exiled or rejected for a really long time. So I think that these can be great when paired for HSPs. Also, if you identify as a feminist, like understanding the way that our society really demonizes these traits, and they tend to classify more women as highly sensitive people as well, or more women identify as highly sensitive, helping you understand how wrong it was for you to have felt shame, ashamed of these qualities growing up, and to embrace them now as a superpower is another thing that we really work on in therapy. So if you are interested, reach out for a free consultation. Thanks.